Welcome back to Off the Field. I'm your host, Obed, and joining me is my co-host, Mike. And today, we have the privilege of talking with two of the most fierce volleyball players from Nelson University. So join us as we talk about their challenges, their emotional moments, and much more. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to Off the Field, where we bring you the conversations that don't make the highlight reels. I'm Mike, of course.
I'm Obed.
And then that's Miles behind us.
Our
and
sound
today we
engineer.
have two special guests. They're both for the Nelson volleyball team. Would you like to introduce yourself, ladies?
My name's Cassidy and I'm a sophomore currently, and I'm a setter for the volleyball team.
My name's Alexandra Bonet. I'm a junior, and I'm an outside hitter.
Welcome to the podcast. So how's you guys' week been? We're getting near the end of it. It's Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end of the week, but how's you guys' week been? How's workouts and everything going on?
Exhausting.
Yeah, it's a lot of early mornings, and we do some two-a-days too,
Yeah.
so we're tired, but we're pushing through.
How do you girls keep up with the morning grind?
We go to bed at like 8 o'clock.
We're grandmas.
At the latest.
we
Yeah.
get to bed early.
And then wake up at 5.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Or 50.
We kind of have to.
That's a heavy schedule.
Yeah.
And then homework on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys' workouts? What do you guys usually do throughout the week, getting near the end till Friday? Because I know you guys have the weekend off.
Yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we are in the wellness and we lift weights and do jump training.
Mhm.
And then Monday, Wednesday, we run in the afternoons.
How's the cardio? It seems like something that's...
I mean, it's not terrible for me, at least.
She also runs like half marathons.
Okay, not
So-
half marathon.
Oh, did you do like the Getzendaner pickle? type-
No, I
Oh,
didn't
you
do that,
You didn't
no.
do that?
No, I think Emma did
Yeah,
that.
Emma
Emma
did.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Mhm. I have run a 10K and 8 miles
A
and a 5K.
10K.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazingly insane. I would never do that.
That's
It was
awesome.
fun.
Alex, do you do any running at all, Alexandra, or no?
Not unless I have to.
Unless you
no.
have
It's like, it must be required, must be necessary for
Yeah.
me to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to run the 800 at the beginning of the season, so I'll train for that. But I don't just run for fun like she does.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and like start the little combo. So how did you guys first get into volleyball? You guys can probably share it individually.
So I mean, whenever like you're little, you just kind of start out playing sports, and I played all the sports, and then volleyball, I guess, just stuck. And I think I started in like 4th grade.
What made you fall in love with it?
I think it was the one I was the best at. I wasn't very good at basketball or softball, so I just kind of stuck with
And
it.
that's okay. And now look where you are.
Exactly.
What about
It
you,
worked.
What about you, Alexandra?
Same thing. I grew up playing multiple different sports, but I grew up in Frisco, and so there's a lot of opportunities for volleyball there. And I started playing when I was 7, so I started very young. But just the relationships that you build from it was definitely my favorite part of it, because it's just a different environment depending on the sport you're playing.
Did you girls have any inspiration that encouraged you to keep with your volleyball journey?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Just,
no.
I mean, the love for it. I've played it as long as I can remember, so just continuing to play it throughout college was always a goal for me, and just playing it to the best.
How many years did you guys play coming towards college? Like, when did you guys start?
So I started rec when I was 7 or 8, and I'm about to turn 21.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you've been 13 years?
So I've been playing club since I was 9.
Wow.
So
And what about you, Cassidy?
I think I started like rec like when I was 12.
When you were 12. So you guys started really, really young.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have had an aspiration for volleyball. That's really cool. And you guys, when did you guys start your college, like looking out for colleges? Was it like your senior year of high school, junior year, or was it through you guys' club?
I think I really started my 17s of club. I think that's when I kind of figured that I wanted to play in college, and I could. And I just did all the recruiting myself, so.
And you know, Alexandra?
they started our recruiting through our club when we were pretty young, but I had dealt with a lot of injuries during the recruiting time. So I started on the later end, but I committed, I think, right before my senior year. So
How does the process, because I know as a soccer player, I know how the recruitment process works in soccer, and every sport is different. How does the recruitment process work with volleyball? Do you guys have like a system where the 17s start getting more looked at, or does it start from a younger age, like 15, 14? Like, what age gap did you guys really start looking in how the recruitment process worked?
I think nowadays it starts really early. Like people
very
like
young.
freshmen in high school like are already committed.
Really?
Like the really good ones are, yeah.
Yeah.
Even while they're in high school, they're already getting recruited for college.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting looked at in middle school.
Yeah.
They
Wow.
can't talk to you past a certain grade,
Oh, geez.
but they're looking. So,
Dude, that's insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's intense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's a lot
very
of competition.
competitive.
Yeah.
It's
so
definitely gotten
competitive.
way more competitive as it has grown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So speaking of you guys' club volleyball experience, so we'll start off with Cassidy. How was your volleyball journey when you were in high school at Northwest?
It was interesting. I starting up from the beginning, I was on freshman team, and then I got moved up to JV, and then my sophomore year I was on varsity.
Oh God.
So
It was like a pretty quick turnaround then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I started off at the lowest, but then I got up. But I didn't really play any until my senior year.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys' high school was like really, really competitive. No?
No, I mean, I'm not saying I was amazing because I wasn't. I definitely wasn't as good, but it was just the coaching. Like I just wasn't looked at.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It was
So
a situation.
You would call yourself something like underrated.
I mean, I don't want to say that because I don't want to like.
Oh, you can't
Overlooked.
really say. You can't say.
What?
Overlooked.
Yeah, like,
Overlooked. Got it.
because like I had the ability. Not saying I was amazing, but I mean it was just not a good time.
Yeah, but you bounced back.
Exactly.
Senior year.
Look at me now.
Yeah, exactly. Look at you now.
You got a ring.
Exactly.
You're part of
That's what I'm
You're
trying
a
to say.
starter. You know, there's
Exactly.
stuff like that. What about you, Alexandra? How was it at Centennial?
It was good. I started on varsity, and then I played on varsity the rest of the years. I actually did not play my sophomore year, though.
Because of the injury, or
Yeah.
We can say that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
injury.
actually left. I chose to leave, and I went to basketball because I grew up playing basketball too. And it was a situation, but I really missed the girls and everything like that, so I ended up coming back.
So were your worlds colliding around that time, your sophomore year?
Well, I had actually given up basketball moving into high school because I wanted to focus on one sport. But it was just a situation in volleyball, and I was like, well, I'm going to give basketball a try again. So,
Yeah, and that's okay.
But I still played club.
Yeah.
I just left the school.
It all works out.
Yeah, it worked out.
I mean, look at you now. You're successful.
Exactly.
So, Cassidy, what has been the biggest challenge you faced at this moment in volleyball?
I would say the pace of it, like coming in freshman year, it was a huge change first of all, but then also playing my freshman year, I didn't expect that. I expected coming in sitting the bench. That's just what I expected.
Yeah.
So it was just very hard mentally to like switch that fast. But I think having a year under my belt, or 2 years, I guess, it's just I understand now the point of how fast the game is.
Because it helped you like stay like sharp like with the game and like the competition that's out there
Yeah.
at the college level.
Yeah, like I'm used to it now. So
What about you, Alexandra?
I know it's probably the answer y'all get a lot, but mine was really injury. My sophomore year in preseason, I actually tore my ab. Yeah, it's not a very common thing, and I tried to play through it, and it just made it worse. So I missed the first half of conference. So that was hard for me, but then I got to come back the second half.
What's the feeling of that? Because your abs,
Yeah.
so like, did every time you walk, you just felt the tear?
Anytime
Or
you like breathe,
Every time you
sneeze,
breathe?
Wow,
anything.
that
So-
sounds like torture.
Did you have trouble sleeping at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, it was really bad the first couple of weeks, but especially as a hitter, your whole point is to stretch and use your core.
Yeah.
You
And
mean where
so-
you jump and you spike?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that injury sounds terrible, honestly. But how did you bounce back from it?
Well, I still got to play defense, luckily, so I was still around the team and everything like that. And I really just tried to help be a voice behind and do what I could to still encourage people. And so then when I came back in, I just fought back for my spot.
And
How-
it worked out.
How was your recovery process from that injury?
You know, I think that an ab injury is kind of, you don't hear about it a lot. And so I didn't have a lot of help with that recovering. It was more just rest, don't do anything. If you feel better, try. And then I would try and it would pop again. So it was really just knowing your limits and knowing your body and moving on from
Did
there.
you get it surgically fixed or
No, luckily I didn't have to.
That's good.
I see. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to going to club and then transitioning into college. So how did club volleyball shape you guys into developing the skills that you had for college?
Yeah, I mean, I think club it's not essential to being a college volleyball player, but it's definitely very helpful. There's a lot of resources around you, especially depending on what club you're playing at. The level of training and the level of experiences you get from the coaches, whether that's just learning new skills or them helping you get connected to colleges, I think it's a very good bridge to college sports.
What club did you guys both play for?
I played for Mad Frog, Skyline, and Frisco Flyers and Arte.
And I played for Tejas and Integrity.
How long were you girls in the clubs, like playing for?
I played at Tejas for 2 years and then Integrity my last year.
Each club or just in general?
You can say each club or in general.
In general. Yeah.
Well, I played from 9 till 18.
9 till 18.
9.
So 9 years. Okay, I had to do my math in my head. Maybe not.
It's like quick math.
8,
like, what
10?
was that?
No, okay. But
Divide the two. No.
Yeah.
So what was the recruitment process like for you guys? Did you guys have any other offers apart from Nelson?
I didn't. The recruiting process, like, you just, like, email a bunch of schools, and if they email back, they email back. And, I mean, I probably got, like, 3 other emails, but this is one of the emails I got.
No, that's really interesting because most of the people we've gotten here on the podcast say, "Oh, I was reached out by XYZ," and they sent me like an
everybody
endless
thought I
amount
was
of
bad. I
emails.
guess so.
What? Everybody thought you were bad. I mean,
I would not say that.
maybe did you start your when did you start your recruitment process? I completely forgot.
The end of my sophomore year.
End of your sophomore. Oh wow!
Like, that's when I started sending emails out to everyone.
And only 3 people reached back. to you?
I had like 4 calls. Yeah.
4 calls. So 10 interest. I wouldn't say offers, but you had interest.
I had no other offers, but I had maybe a couple more interests. Yeah.
Okay, and then you ultimately chose Nelson. Well, it's good that you chose Nelson because now you're a starter.
Because
Exactly.
you're here
It all
talking
worked
with us
out. It was
about
God's
it.
plan.
Amen.
What about you, Alexandra? How many offers did you have?
Yeah, I had a few. But in regards to Nelson, I didn't actually like email Nelson or anything like that.
Wow.
My first roommate, she was committed here to come and play. And she was like, just come to the camp, it'll be fun. And I was like, where's Waxahachie? And I was like, okay,
Wait,
I'll
your
come.
first roommate, as in a different college, first roommate?
No, I've always been here, so we're roommates now.
Yeah.
But my first roommate was named Brandy, and she was committed to play volleyball, but she actually decommitted right before the season started.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was the whole reason I had come to the school. But then when I came here, I fell in love with the coaching staff and the girls and just the whole environment.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So this was Brandy was it before you came to the school, as in came on campus? So this is you guys texting.
Yeah, we played club together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying to get that.
Sorry.
This was during your freshman year here at college?
This was before my freshman year. She decommitted.
Oh.
I was
wow.
yeah.
What is she doing now? Is she playing volleyball at another college?
No, she had a nerve injury in her leg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So ultimately, she had to slow that down. Okay,
Yeah.
I get you. What was your guys' biggest adjustment when you guys came into college?
Honestly, just being away from home. We're both very much homebodies. I actually go home every weekend still. And so being away from your family and your dogs and everything, that was a really big adjustment for me because I was I love spending time with my family and stuff like that.
So. What about you, Cassidy?
Yeah, probably the same, and just finding a new environment here. Because, I mean, even though we have the whole team as our friends, our best friends, it's hard to really, find people outside of that and really find a community.
Have you girls found friends that are pretty much almost family, with the team that you are with now?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
For sure.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's example
You guys are
right
at the
here.
podcast.
Right, yeah. What's the one moment when you realized, okay, this is a new level of competition, I kind of have to step up my game to kind of keep up with what's going on out in the court?
I think for me it was my first game playing in Montana freshman year. It was the very first game, and I went and I was on the court, and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I was a little tiny freshman. I did not expect that.
It's the amount of power I need is ridiculous.
Exactly.
How was the attendance? Was it crazy?
Not really, because it was in Montana, so nobody was really there.
Montana. Who did you guys? Did y'all play Montana State or who did you guys play?
Montana Tech.
Montana Tech. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking about NCAA. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Eastern Oregon too.
Eastern Oregon and another Montana.
We played a lot of top teams.
Was this a tournament? Because okay, I was about to say because there's no way you guys like just shot in the.
No,
these
yeah,
teams.
this was our preseason tournament.
Okay,
my
yeah.
freshman year, so 2 years ago.
Oh, wait, these were ranked opponents.
Mhm.
Oh, geez, yeah, that's crazy.
Was it kind of like Oregon from like the Sioux City like competition?
Mhm,
It
kind
was
of.
them?
No, it wasn't
No.
them,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was that type. Yeah.
My bad.
No, like imagine if it was them, it'd be crazy.
I know.
So, how did the mental state play a part in your performance when you were down there?
I would honestly, it was not good because like I said, I was a little freshman, so I was not mentally prepared.
Mhm.
I definitely had to grow from that,
Mhm.
even still growing. But yeah,
And the transition into college, how do you think your progress has gone at now you being the end of your sophomore season?
I think definitely the experience and also just switching my mindset of like focusing that I'm here for a reason and God's placed me here for a reason and I have the ability to do this rather than like freaking out over my performance or anything like that.
So we noticed that you reached 1,000 assists in your career and you're only a sophomore. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's definitely a great accomplishment. I did not expect that to come my sophomore year. Like I said, I expected to set the bench my freshman year. So, I mean, even though it's a great accomplishment, like the ultimate goal is to win a national championship, but it definitely is important.
Well, the team was very close last time. The team made it to Iowa, so that's a really big achievement too.
Yeah, that's one of our goals. That's our first goal is to make it there. So.
And I was also looking at the game against Oregon. Oregon put up like a good game, but the team did as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think we surprised ourselves there. I think we definitely, if we had more confidence in ourselves, I feel like we could have taken it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys did bounce back later on the next game,
Mm-hmm.
but it was already too late because the you guys played Verbo? Was
Viterbo.
it Viterbo?
Viterbo.
Oh, yeah, you guys played Viterbo. You guys did amazing against Viterbo, and they were a higher rank than you guys too. But yeah, Oregon was just good. Yeah, Oregon was a really good team.
I mean, we
We
put
also-
up a fight, but
Yeah. We also did have a decent amount of
No.
unforced errors, though. In that game, we had like
that's what I think we didn't have.
19 errors
don't-
that we just handed them.
I don't think we were ready. I think we didn't mentally prepare for that.
Yeah.
From what I heard is that the Oregon players were like much taller.
Everybody
that-
was taller there.
Like-
At the tournament, everybody was taller than us.
Yeah.
Because
They
we're
were-
a short team.
Yeah.
Wait, who's your tallest player?
I would say Ava.
Yeah.
She's
I don't know how tall she is, though, but
think she's
she's not even a middle.
She's
Yeah.
what, like 6'2", something?
Maybe, yeah.
6'1", 6'2".
But our
6'1",
tallest
6'2".
middle is like 6.
6 foot.
Foot.
Maybe.
6 foot. Yeah.
And usually, like, there was girls that were like 6'5".
Yeah.
6'5".
There was a huge
Why
girl
are
in
they
Viterbo.
playing? Why are they playing there?
I know.
They'd be playing. They'd
Like,
be
I
playing.
know.
Yeah, Mike, if you look up like the volleyball stats, they're around like 6'3", 6'4",
yeah.
6'5". They're
Their
like
entire roster.
Mm-hmm.
most of them, they're like
Yeah.
low to mid sixes.
People want tall people now.
Oh man, that's
Most
unfair. That's
most
so
players
unfair.
on our team are like
so
high
unfair.
fives to low sixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so unfair.
I'm low 5, so.
Well, speaking of growth, have you guys grown as players since coming to Nelson?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, not even just with your like physical abilities, but also your mental abilities. I mean, volleyball is a very mental game and like something that I've really learned as a player at Nelson and under Coach Moore and under Nick is just that like quick mindset. Like if you make an error, move on. Like no one cares. It just matters how you respond after that error and just not focusing on like everything physical, but like she said earlier, we're all here for a reason, and it's to glorify God with the talents He's given us. And so just making that your main focus out on the court.
Speaking of the new coach, have you girls felt a difference with his coaching style compared to the previous coach?
I think it's definitely a change. Like, I mean, obviously it's a whole new coach, but he's kind of been under wraps coaching us. Like, even though we had Coach Moore as our head coach, he was kind of running everything. So we're kind of used to it.
So, from coaching and into a player standpoint, where do you guys see that you guys need to improve in the areas of your skill work? As in, like, your position, like, what are things you guys think you need to improve on as a player? Well, not just as a player, as a person too.
Just we lost 2 of our captains this past season, and so something that we both, I don't want to speak for her, but we've both been really wanting to like work on is like leadership, like helping step up and lead the team, and just being that voice when they're gone.
Yeah.
Like just encourage each other to keep going.
Yeah, like we just want to be the leadership that we're missing.
Having to step up into that position. Yeah, it's also an uncomfortable feeling, but
Yeah.
you guys will get used to it. Are you guys next in line? You guys are going to be the next leaders on the team?
Like court leaders going out there making the calls.
Hopefully, but you never know what
That's
happens.
that's everyone's goal.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
we don't have any set roles.
Yeah.
So the team had an incredible record last season. What led to such a huge dominant season?
I think it was just our focus as a team. I think we had a goal and we wanted to get there. So we put in the work because it was definitely hard.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think another main thing is just our chemistry has always been unmatched. We're not just teammates, we're family, and that shows out there on the court. And so when we're playing teams and they're just screaming at each other and like, that's not going to get you anywhere. But when you're going over to your teammate who just messed up and lifting them up and being like, hey, you got this. That's definitely a key thing.
Yeah, that 22-0 conference play record showed it for sure. That's amazing, guys. What was a part of the season when you felt like this team had the potential to go like really, really far? Or was it from the start? Did you have that mentality from the start?
It definitely wasn't from the start. We started off rocky because, part of every preseason is finding a rotation that works and finding where it all meets together. So, honestly, I don't remember exactly when, but I think the biggest moment was when we beat Tex West 3-0.
Was that the first time or the second time?
That was the first time.
First time?
I was like, dang,
That's a good
potential.
achievement.
Yeah.
I don't like Tex West.
Yeah, we don't either.
I hate
It's like
that.
we have a personal.
I don't hate
Yeah.
that school, but I very much envy that school.
Yeah.
I dislike that school so much. Even in soccer, I just have a few friends.
Even
down
soccer, like it runs through every sport. So I
Yeah.
just don't like them.
there. Every sport, well, apart from football, because it sucks.
Anyway, football is a different breed. Okay.
But what was the most memorable game of the season for each of you?
Honestly, I would probably say the Tex West game
Tex West game?
I'd say Tex West or Viterbo.
or OCU away because that's when we won conference.
Okay, yeah. I was like,
yeah.
wait, you
That
guys
was-
weren't going to be happy for the conference win game?
Yeah.
But,
Well,
It would have been, based on our numbers, it would have been very unlikely
to
for
not
us
get it,
to have
yeah.
lost after a certain point.
yeah.
But with that being said, you can still get knocked down in your ranking. So it was very important that we stayed focused.
Would you say that was one of the bigger challenges that the team faced during that dominant season?
I think there's always going to be a sense of sometimes complacency when you're getting used to something and being comfortable. And I think that that's something that we all really worked on, is not being comfortable. And that's something that the coaches always said, like, hey, it's great, you just won, but, that it's in the past now. We need to move on to our future game, future opponent.
Yeah, also, despite the undefeated record, I know you guys went into the conference tournament play. You guys did really well, and then you guys went to Tex West, and you guys lost 3-0. What was the feeling that you guys had after the game, and how was the mentality afterwards to keep you guys heads up? Because you guys still made the national tournament, but what was the mental going in your mind after that loss?
I think it was definitely hard. Any loss is hard. But after we got that out of our system, we were kind of like, okay, we still have the national tournament and we still have a chance. Like, one loss, even though it sucked, isn't going to determine how much, because we already made it. So, that's.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's a humbling experience. Sometimes when you're flying too close to the sun, you're going to get burnt. And so just keeping that mindset of like, okay, we're not undefeatable, we're not invincible, we're very much beatable at any point in time. So you just need to make sure that you're consistently sticking together and working towards the common goal.
So what was the feeling like in the room when the team faced Southern Oregon and the team faced that loss at the national tournament?
You know, it was very sad because we were losing a lot of people that, I mean, some of us have played with. I've played with them for 3 years, and they've been here ever since I've been here. And so it was sad, like, losing them, but I also think that we were all sad about the outcome of the game, knowing that there were some errors that we could have adjusted and done better, and, you know, everyone could have done better at a certain point, but at the same time, you know, we made it to the national championship, and we gave it our all.
It's a big achievement.
Played well as a team, so.
Yeah.
What lessons do you take from the national tournament as a team, as a family, just as a group?
I think that you can play with anyone. Like, even though we played Southern Oregon and they were ranked 3rd, we played with them.
Yeah.
And we didn't, like I said, even though they're ranked 3rd, or if we played the first team, don't give up, and we still have a chance.
And that's
no matter who we're playing.
They may have been a tough team, but they got pushed to their limits because it was going to a 4th set. It was like it would have gone to a tiebreaker, a 5th set.
I think like the parents were like, "Wow, we didn't expect them to be this good."
Yeah.
So
You guys were the underrated team of the tournament.
Yeah.
Volleyball is a very physical sport, but it's also a very mental sport, and it's, you know, who wants it more, who's willing to work for it more out on the court. And I think they kind of underestimated the grit that we had.
I think that's with like a lot of sports. Like your opponent sees like the size of like their opponent. They may assume, oh, they're like of a smaller frame, so they don't pose a threat. But they don't realize the amount of effort the other person has put, and then they end up being surprised of like, I'm like, we couldn't beat them easily. Like they literally pushed us to our limit.
It could also play a part of the fact that they were an undersized team. I mean, you know, when you're a team that, well, obviously we have our sports network, but when they're a team that doesn't expect this team to perform well, they won't look at any film. They probably just looked at the roster and saw the heights, and they were like, "Oh, okay, well, we got it. This team's undersized."
But then that gives us the surprise where then our team comes in and then just sweeps the victory.
Yeah. And I feel like your coach, like Coach Moore, he played a huge impact with that, and he had a really good career. He won over 500 games. And what was it like playing under his coaching?
It was amazing. I mean, he's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. And I think the biggest thing for me is that he focused on you as an individual and not just how you played. And he also made sure that we knew that this is for God and we're playing for him rather than ourselves. And he really made a huge impact on that.
Yeah, kind of just to build on that, it was just truly a blessing. Like, he was the main reason I came to this school in the first place. And, you know, he upheld that standard of just being there, not only pushing us like physically, but also as a person and spiritually. You know, he really enforced in us that your identity's not in your sport, but it's in your relationship with the Lord, and that's just ultimately the most important thing.
Now, what was like one of the biggest lessons he taught you guys not even during the season, during you guys' career while he was at the school? Obviously, he's not a coach anymore. What was something that you guys really, really remembered him, that he like inspired you, or he taught you a lesson that you still take to this day?
I think for me, like I said, it's really just focusing on that this is for the Lord, and because I know for me, like, the sport has been a huge part of my life, and really changing that focus of I'm doing this for myself and for like how good I do rather than just doing it for the Lord, and that he gave me this gift for a reason.
Yeah. How do you think his legacy as a coach at your school involved? How do you think his retirement helped you guys feel? I'm sorry, that was a completely different question. How do you think his retirement affected the team in general?
Oh, it was hard.
Yeah.
He told us right after, because we had to go watch Viterbo and Southern Oregon play, and we got on the bus, and he told us after their game.
Like literally right after the tournament?
When we got on the bus.
Because if Viterbo had won, then we would have done a 3-way tie. But they didn't, and so we were done, and he told us.
Oh, that probably hurt.
I had no idea.
Really?
Nobody had any
My
idea.
jaw was like wide open.
It's
And-
like everyone sits down and says, "All right, I have an announcement.
No, literally,
I'm
that's how it
retiring."
went.
Entering the transfer portal.
No.
And then you're like, okay, let's go back in time, and then
Yeah.
let's pretend like.
Yeah.
Like it's a joke, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was crazy.
So we see that there's some rings here on the table. Can you please explain to us what these rings are and
I only have
how did they
one.
get earned?
This
We have
is
two. We
that-
have,
you're right,
We have
two
one
coming.
coming.
So is that that's the conference tournament one and the no, not the tournament. Is
no,
this the
this
conference
is just
win?
the
Conference.
conference.
Oh, this
champions.
conference.
ring.
And what's the other ring? Is it the national ring or is it you guys?
These are
These
both
are
the.
for 20. This is last. Or
Oh,
Last
it's the
year.
ones from both years.
Yeah, she has two because she's a year older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I only have one. So
well,
Pretty nice. It has the little logo on it.
yeah, it
They're
has my
they're
number.
very they're
It
very
has my
nice.
last name too.
2023.
What do these rings mean?
I mean, they're great accomplishments. Obviously we're very fortunate to have them. We're very grateful to have them when we put in the work to have them. But at the end of the day, they're, rings that we'll look at on the shelf, but when we look at them, we'll be able to remember the relationships we built and the experiences we had. And
Would you consider
growth.
them a big milestone? Like, I made it this far in my career, so I have a ring to show for it.
I think for me, I mean, like I said, my high school career was not the best, but knowing that I put in the work and I did all of this, it's really important.
But there was one thing that you guys both had: faith. You guys both had faith and believing in the
And a
Lord.
good team.
And a good team, but
And a coach.
and a coach. But it was all faith. And how has you guys' faith played a role in you guys' volleyball career in general?
yeah, I mean, I've grown up being Christian, but I would say that my walk with the Lord has definitely grown since I've been here. And I really dedicate that to Coach Moore and Nick. And just walking with the Lord while you're playing the sport, it just completely changes you as a player. When you're focused on the stats and everything like that, you're going to get in your head very easily and stuff. But when you're just playing every game to glorify him and honor the talents he's given you, your mindset just completely changes.
I think it also helps that, like, say you have a bad game, like, yes, it sucks, but, like, ultimately it's a sport. Like,
Yeah, it happens.
like,
It's going to happen
exactly.
eventually.
Like, you live your life. You have a life. Like, you don't need to worry about that one game.
Like, you win some, you lose some, but you have to move on.
Mhm.
Are there any faith-based traditions that you guys have with the team? Obviously, you guys do the little prayer around, but do you guys have devotionals? Do you guys have outreaches? Any events that you guys go through in the season?
We do a devotion before every practice during season, and we have prayer partners and prayer groups, and then the team does a Bible study as well.
Yeah,
and
making sure
we also commit every time before practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so
making sure you guys keep faith in the Lord in between all of that because He's the guidance. What are you guys' personal goals for next season?
I mean, ultimately, the goal is setter of the year, but like I said before, that the personal goals don't matter. The team is ultimately what really matters in getting as far as we can.
Exactly.
But, I mean, that would be my goal, but...
I definitely agree with the team part.
Yeah.
That's
Team
the
part.
ultimate goal, but I would say hitting 1,000 kills would be my goal.
1,000 kills. Yeah. How did you? How close did you get this season?
So I'm about like 325 away, and I did miss half my sophomore year, so I really got to kick it in this season.
So you're in your mind, you're really like, I'm gonna get this. I'm definitely gonna
That's
get
my goal.
this.
That's what I would-
I'm going to grind, and I'm going to get this.
So how do you guys see Nelson volleyball continuing to grow and improve without Coach Moore's guidance?
I think with Coach Nick, sorry, with his new leadership role, he really focuses on discipline and really working as hard as we can because we're putting in the work now and it'll show in August. I think that's a big thing and just really working hard.
Is there any advice that you would like to give to young, up-and-coming, like, volleyball athletes?
That's a good one. I mean, there's so many ways you could take that, but just if you're really wanting to play in the future and play at a higher level, just getting into a club that not only pushes you to be the best player, but also cares for you as a person. Because ultimately, if you're a great player, but you're struggling as an individual, it's going to show out on the court. And so just making sure that you prioritize both aspects of your life.
Yeah, and I think a big thing, because I'm an assistant coach for a club team, and I think a big thing is how they get mad at themselves so fast. Like, I mean, I know I did that when I was little, but it's really, it does change, like, how you play if you just have a, like, quick mindset and just forget about that, because there's nothing you can do about it. It already happened, so.
So from this podcast, is there one thing you guys can leave out and say, well, not just your fans, you know, your family, your community, just your team? What is one thing that you guys leave out with this podcast?
I mean, I'm just thankful for everybody who's been in my journey. I mean, I seriously couldn't do any of this without my family, my friends, the team, the coaches, God. I mean, everything. I mean, if I would have told myself 5 years ago that I'd be here, I would laugh. So,
Really?
Yeah. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, just to second that. I mean, all the people she listed, me too. But, I mean, truly being at Nelson and formerly SAGU has just been the best experience of my life. And I've grown so much here, and I've had so many experiences. And just thank you. And also on the other side, thank you to all the fans who come out to all the games. It really makes a difference, you know, when the stands are packed. We love it. So when they're screaming, good things.
It does help.
Yeah.
Wait, well, formerly SAGU. I heard that.
Yeah. I have 2 years Nelson, 2 years SAGU.
2 years
so,
SAG.
you know.
Half and half, you know?
Yeah. But personally, you think, I'm gonna keep with that. I'll forever be a SAGU lion, not a Nelson
Now
lion.
I'm used to Nelson.
I have gotten used to it, but it is definitely, I'm both. I
still
take
weird.
both. I'm 50-50.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, last question. I don't know much about NCAA college volleyball for women's, but I did do a lot of research. Penn State, Louisville, or Pittsburgh?
Neither. Nelson.
Well, I mean, I would say Penn State.
Penn State?
Yeah,
What about you, Alexandra?
Probably.
Probably Penn State?
Yeah.
they kind of were underrated.
Underrated.
Last season.
But they did really well.
But
They
they
actually
won.
did really
And
well. Yeah,
they're-
they won the whole thing.
Outside. They're outside, which is my position.
The one that graduated.
Yeah,
Oh,
she was amazing.
Jess Mercer.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
yes,
we
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. All right, well, I'm Mike. That's
I'm Obed.
And then that's Miles, and we'll see you guys next episode. Thank you.